certainly wanted to stand up for these fine downtown places, and I've been so proud to be a part of a community that does fund such a resource. There aren't very many in the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. I move we close the special meeting portion of the meeting this evening. Councilman Gross seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We'll enter the, I move we open the work session portion of the meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously again. Item 1 of the work session. Work session and regular meeting procedures related to public comment.
I placed this on the agenda this evening. As you know, we've made reference this evening to the last meeting that we held here. It wasn't last week. It was September 23rd, 2010. And I believe that there was a lack of awareness as to certain rules which exist in the and meeting procedures that have been established by this board, specifically by resolution number 06 of 09. And I just wanted to reiterate the fact that we should follow, or we are required to follow that resolution. And we're also required to follow certain procedures which have been established, which Councilmember Cullen and I were spoken about at a seminar we attended last January. I affectionately called it the seminar for how to learn how to become a council member. And I thought it was very informative. They gave us a lot of information and a lot of literature. And one of the things that I learned is that as a board, if you open a meeting to public comment to anyone, any one person, that you must then open that meeting to all comment. You cannot discriminate. You cannot select. It's either one person and all people, or no people. So I wanted to reiterate our commitment, my commitment, to that concept, where if we now we had public comment tonight, that means any of you can come up to that microphone and make a public comment, and you must be recognized. So I wanted to reiterate my commitment to that concept, and I wanted to ask my fellow board members if they could also join me in that commitment to make certain that we honor that. Indeed, we can limit public comment to a certain minutes or a certain time period, but we cannot stop people from speaking at meetings. It's against what I learned in the How to Become a Good Council Member seminar, and I believe it's against the fabric of our society, of our democracy, as I stated that evening. So I wanted to put this on the work session tonight to briefly tell everyone that that's what I believe should have happened. Once again, ask my council members to agree whether that's how we are now going to proceed. Call one member of the audience, call all of them, whoever wants to make a comment. I would just ask us to all say together, is that our commitment?
Thank you, Councilwoman. Please make your point and let's move on.
I did. I'm asking,
Okay.
Is that our commitment?
Well, as you noticed from this evening, I think we did call on every member of the audience.
We need to reiterate our commitment, and I think we need to do that for the people who are here in the audience and for people who are watching. And this is also, remember, this is on the internet. You can see this meeting on the internet probably by, today is Thursday, maybe Sunday, Monday. But the bottom line is, let's reiterate our commitment that we serve you and we're going to permit you to talk. We're going to permit you to speak.
I would second that. I think public comment in a small town forum is important. We're all neighbors. We can't selectively choose who we want to let speak and not speak. Obviously, if it's going to be a long public hearing, restricting how long somebody could speak for is acceptable as long as everyone is under the same time period. You can't let someone speak for a half hour and then tell someone else they have a minute, which happened before in the past over some issues. But I think the spirit is important, that we agree that members of the public are allowed to come and speak about town issues.
Item 2. Work session and regular meeting procedures is related to Robert's Rules of Order.
I put this on the agenda too, and in light of what I just said, I just wanted to point out that In January, at our organizational meeting, we adopted what's called the Roberts Rules of Order. This is the book, Roberts Rules of Order. That's what we're to follow. The issue really comes down to, on the numerous boards that several boards that I've served on, I never had a problem with Roberts Rules of Order. I never had to reread that Roberts Rules of Order that I read when I was in college, but I will tell you that after that last meeting, I not only took this book, I had to reread the book, and I'll tell you why, because we weren't following the Roberts Rules of Order. And as was particularly pointed out by one of our constituents in one of the numerous emails and responses to LOHUD, I don't know which responses it was, someone said, after looking at that meeting, for sure I know that the supervisor did not understand the Roberts Rules of Order, and the other members of the board had a rudimentary knowledge. And I want to tell you something. I think that guy was right. And I want to tell you something. After that, I looked at the Roberts Rules of Order. You know, amongst other things, you can only raise a motion twice when it's defeated, things like that. So I want to tell you that I also would ask all of our board members, and I am admitting the fact that, sir, you're right. Apparently, I exhibited a rudimentary knowledge of Robert's Rules, but I know when I'm wrong, and I can certainly say that. And here's my Robert's Rules of Order. And I think all of the board members need to read this book, because when we adopted it, I don't know if we all really had even a rudimentary knowledge. So I'm going to ask us all again as board members, and if anyone doesn't have this book, I'd be more than happy to give out one of, give a book out or loan them my copy.
Maybe the library has it.
That's why.
Go to the library and get it.
I'd like to make one
Good
comment.
suggestion.
Yes,
I'd like to
Roger.
make one comment. I'm not going to beat around the bush. September 23rd meeting was an embarrassment for our community, an embarrassment in the county. And I'll tell you a little story. One of my former students is a teacher in Delaware, and the story was related to me. He played a portion of that meeting that's on the internet to his students. Of course, after they stopped laughing, he said, you know, this is the way government should not be. And it's all over the place. There was 55,000 hits have been on this particular area. So that's what I was told today. I don't know if that number's off or not. But anyway, the bottom line is we need to be professional and be articulate and be respectful. We were elected by the community to do the business that needs to be done, and that's what we should do, and leave politicking to another time.
Yes, Donna. Welcome, Donna. Thanks for joining us.
In line with that, and you just stole my word, Roger, but one of the things that I expect out of you as board members is professionalism. And what I mean by that is I think a lot of the commentary can disappear. When we're talking about a budget, we're talking numbers, black and white. We don't need all this running commentary about I want this and I want that, and they don't want it and they don't want this, and it's too much. It's all about numbers. What do we need to run this community? And I think it's a little ridiculous that here we are at 9:30 at night, and we've just now gotten past that subject. The one thing that I think should disappear from all this commentary are words like old guard, political insiders, gravy train. I mean, I'd like some names. Who is the old guard these days? I want some names, because I've been hearing that word now for 3 years, and I'm sick of hearing it. I think professionalism is the key word. Stick to the facts, stick to what needs to be done, and let's lose the commentary.
Thanks, Donna. Item 3, Old Town Hall Task Force briefing. We have with us this evening Kathleen. Ms. Abels, thanks for joining us.
Thank you and good evening. I'm Kathleen Abels. I'm a member of the task force that the town board appointed in the beginning of the year to look at a certain property at 67 Main Street, known as Old Town Hall. And we were requested to study the building, study the options, and make recommendations to the town. To recap very briefly, the building was constructed in 1896. It's on the National Register of Historic Places. It's architecturally beautiful, and it has acoustical excellence. After months of study, our recommendation was to have the town perform a sensitive renovation of the building so that all 3 levels of the building could be utilized and to reopen the theater level. The concept is that this building could be the centerpiece for both the village and town shared Main Street, and that would provide business opportunities for revitalization, both cultural and commercial. To continue, the town agreed to place on the November 2 ballot a bond vote on the project. Currently, our mission now for the task force, as well as for the recently formed Town of Southeast Cultural Arts Coalition, is to raise awareness and support for this project. We've been very busy trying to do that. In particular, on Founders Day, October 3, we had a WOW Day, and it was WOW for 2 reasons. One, everyone that actually had a chance to come into the Old Town Hall Theater said, wow. The architecture, the acoustics, beautiful woodwork, the stage, the balcony, and what most people said was, I had no idea this existed. The treasure that we have hidden there has been closed for far too long. The second reason we had a WOW Day was thanks largely to the work of the illustrious Don Pippin. We had an exceptionally successful fundraiser called The Best of Broadway. This took place at the Brewster High School Performing Arts Center. We had over 300 people in the audience, and everyone said, wow, because Don was able to bring in some exceptionally talented performers. There were several standing ovations, and the feedback from this was very positive. So at this point in time, we will continue to try to implore voters to vote yes on ballot proposal number 1 on November 2, and I'd like to invite everyone to find out more about the project by going to our website, www.oththeater.org, and that's theater with an ER because this is the United States and not the United Kingdom. You can also check us out on Facebook on Old Town Hall, Brewster, New York, and I would like to introduce Don Pippin. Don is a Tony and Emmy Award-winning conductor.
Welcome, Don. Thanks, Kathleen. Thank you, Kathleen. Welcome, Don.
I never realized that a meeting like this is so much like the plot of a good play, and I was wondering what Tennessee Williams could do with what I've witnessed tonight. I've been in the entertainment business in the New York scene for over 50 years. So I've had a lot of experience with good things, bad things, flops, huge successes. And the other thing I've had a chance to do is to tour a lot in this country. Small cities, big cities, small projects, big projects. One thing I realized that was sort of relevant to what we are trying to do here now. Every small city, and I was in one, I was in Stuart, Florida. Last night I came back. In that little town, they have a museum, they have a library, and they have a theater. And I found these 3 elements were true in every small town and every big town, that one seems to exist better when the other 3 are there. And of course, there are advantages, because when you have a great theater that people go to, the first thing you know, some great restaurateurs come in, and you have wonderful restaurants. It begins to revitalize the whole town, and I think we all agree we need a little revitalization going on in Brewster. But my interest in doing what I did on October 3, which I'll have to admit took a lot of work and took a lot of time to get done, and I just called up all my buddies I've worked with, and they're very important in the trade, not particularly big names to the public, but those who heard them can see how good they are at what they do. And when I explained to them what we were trying to do, they believe in the theater, and they said, we'll come up there and we will help you. And they all did come up. Ron Raines, who was one of our great baritones, he had been recording in New York since 9 in the morning. He recorded until around 1, hopped in his car, and drove up. And I do want to say one thing publicly, is the person who really had so much to do with the success of that evening, Judy Morano, who was our stage manager. I've worked with the best in the business. I've never seen anyone run a show as smoothly, because I don't know whether you realize, we never had a run-through. We had only rehearsed every individual person. No one had ever started at the top and run the show, and Judy had to make sure the piano was moved, the microphones were there, and we never had a stage wait. It ran like a real professional thing would in New York, and I was thrilled. I'm glad, and I